His brow furrowed, and I felt like his tone of voice was quite accusatory, if I was honest. Well, I wasn't paying attention. No, it's fine. I wasn't paying attention. It's alright. My bad. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Espoir du Vide, and today I want to play a game that's part of the Zach Jam of 2024 called Photography Project. Sonder. From H. Doisno to you. Subject, deadline photography project. Hello? I wanted to message you about a pressing matter, the work you've been required to do for my course. Nobody has forgotten to send their work but you, which is quite worrying, as the deadline for everything to receive and to note was a few days ago. I'll leave you 2 more days to send your set of images with its title and its research, all of it explained and with the necessary criteria to make me validate your work. It feels like I'm in school again. I won't tolerate any more slacking as of now. It's the start of the year, and work is necessary if you want to pass up. Think about it. With my best regards, H. Doisno. A project quite overdue, huh? I guess I need to move on and get this done today. But thankfully, I have a slight idea of where to start. Let's just save some of my professor's worries and write up some half-empty promises. If I manage, I can get this done quickly, that is. Hello, Professor. Sorry for my lack of responses due to my participation in many other courses. I forgot to send you my work for this semester. I'm sadly out of town for now and don't have my camera or my SD card on me to send you the shots right now. I'll send you my photographs by tonight, which I hope will be up to your standards. Best regards. Oh. Neat. That's a very clever way to put your name in there. Espoir. Man, I'm so glad that I don't have to go to school anymore. There, and sent. Now time to actually get these photos taken. Ooh. The cold breeze of the start of autumn felt quite unfamiliar. The hot weather of a calming summer disappeared on a whim, making the flaps of my jacket thrash against the newly found wind, the speed of my bike riding on the rocky paths not helping either. I squinted to battle the brisk feeling, brushing a few tears out, sometimes palming the strap of my camera bag to be sure it doesn't slide down my arm, or suddenly open by whatever force. Yeah, those are expensive. Soon enough, I could see the clearing of trees as the body of water came into view. Ooh. I couldn't hold back a smirk as I discovered the riverbank that wasn't too far away from my school town, just beside Riverside. I let out a few sighs of wonder as I noticed the picture of such a place, the gentle dance of rustling leaves and the elaborate dirt tracks slithering through robust-looking trees, a few sprouts of vibrant colors punctuating the grassy field. I guess it wasn't a bad idea coming here, huh? Yet I still had to do something with this scenery, find a subject good enough for this project, or else I'm cooked. Only photographing flowers won't make it. It's too bland, and so are taking photos of the trees. The few birds flying around, and probably some bugs hiding here, could open to an interesting theme. If I manage to catch good shots, that is. There's no promise I won't get half of my photos ruined by unprofessional focus or depressing framing work. Maybe the river will get me inspired, the fishes swimming near the borders, the dancing algae shoving out of their paths. Lovely sights illuminated by some shy sun rays. Oh, that sounds perfect. I could definitely make it into something. I just need to bring out a few artists' names to meet his criteria, and then... Oops! Shoot, I hope I wasn't daydreaming while riding my bike. It was only a quick drift to the side, while I followed the bumpy main trail for a turn, and now I'm rolling down a slope of brambles and bushes. Ow! Everything happened so fast. I could barely register what made me get to such a painful fall. Maybe I ran directly into a tree trunk. Seemed to be strong enough. My eyes still closed. I let out a few strangled whines as I tried to figure everything out. I wouldn't even dare to wriggle out. A few thorns made my limbs numb, entangling them in between vines, blood pulsing inside my ears, and my forehead burning with a headache. Ooh. My previous thoughts were long forgotten. I could only think about how much my back hurt. God. Hey, are you all right there? Cute! I shook as I heard someone just over me, my eyes fluttering open. Gosh, that was one nasty fall. Do you need any help? Are you hurt anywhere? I got thorns on my thorns. I was only starting to register the presence of the young man in front of me as he extended his hand towards me, his expression worried. Yeah, I probably took a heavy bump there. Was he the one who made me fall off my bike? Well, I'm not gonna be rude. Thank you. Well, if he offers help, then I'll take it. I stretched my own arm out towards him and felt him grip onto it steadily, pulling me out of the brambles and bushes with strength. Ooh. I've never fallen into one of those, but it can't be pleasant. His other hand took hold of my free arm for balance, helping me stand up carefully as he led me out of the muddy slope. Oh, where's my camera? Is my camera okay? I patted my arm when I was on my own 2 feet, taking a few breaths as I looked back at where I'd landed. The vegetation of the place now having the imprint of my fall, awkwardly bending the grass and leaves. Cute! I faced the man again, a tired grin tugging at my lips. You didn't see that. You didn't see any of that. There's no evidence. No one will believe you that I did something so embarrassing. Thank you for the help, He waved his hand off as he smiled back at me. His own looked more sincere. He seemed happy to help. He then bent down and took a hold of the handle of my bike itself, stuck between vines and mud, tugging at it and wriggling it out of the ramp. He seemed confident enough about getting it out, so I took a step back for him to move it easier, looking cautiously as he easily saved my bike from its situation. Thank you. My hands gripped onto the strap of my camera bag, and I suddenly realized I should check on my other device too. Yeah, your expensive camera. As my bike was being set back on the main pathway, I took the camera out of my bag to check the lens and the buttons. Everything looked fine, the bag only having a few scratches. Thank goodness. I glanced back at the man and stood unmoving as I took notice of him fixing up the chain of the bike. Ooh. I couldn't help but feel a bit bashful at the amount of help he was going through for me, a mere stranger. I brushed off my hands and a few dirty spots off my clothes. Nagging thoughts of not being presentable made me uneasy. I struggled to keep myself calm as I heard a soft chuckle to my side. Hey, are you all right? Are you hurt anywhere? I have a few things to heal scratches if you need. Oh, what a charming young man. He tried to search for my sight before beaming at me, holding my bike upright and pointing at his waist bag to seek my response. I shook my head at his suggestion, patting my hands on my pants as I calmed down. You should probably get some of those brambles checked. I'm fine. I was more frightened than hurt. Got worried over my stuff, but it looks like there's no damage after all. I stretched my neck to lessen the strain, tugging at the strap of my bag to alleviate the area. The young man in front of me sighed in relief. So everything's all right? Good. I'm glad you're not hurt. I wouldn't have forgiven myself otherwise. He still smiled at me, looking over at the trail that followed my path to check that nothing was left behind. When he was done checking the place, and when I was done unwinding, he took a few steps to lend my bike back. Oh, by the way, my name's Zechariah. I was just doing a little jog out there. Nice to meet you. Oh, thank you for your help, Zechariah. I'm Espoir. Nice to meet you too. He looked delighted by my introduction, waving his hands to me while chuckling. No need to thank me. I'm glad to be of help. I got really worried for a second. I'm sorry. It's not too unusual to stumble across people on bikes around here, so I didn't notice you at all, and you got there so fast I barely could get out of the way. You should probably slow down while riding around here. Many people enjoy walking near the river, and it would be better if all of this didn't happen again. Yeah, I was zoning out. His brow furrowed, and I felt like his tone of voice was quite
Accusatory.
I did a bad, and it was all my fault. His brow furrowed, and I felt like his tone of voice was quite accusatory, if I was honest. Well, I wasn't paying attention. I was conflicted about the tone that I wanted to reply with. No, it's fine. I wasn't paying attention. It's alright. My bad. I guessed I just had to agree. Whatever happened was quite reckless. Yeah, you're right. I was thinking so much I barely took notice of my surroundings. I'll be more cautious now. At my reply, he amicably chuckled, reaching his hand up to tap against my shoulder in amusement. Hey, don't sweat it. I'm just glad you're okay. I'm just worried you could get hurt again. And who knows, a wrong turn and you could be rolling down the hill directly into the river and say hello to your friends, the fishes. So we better avoid that, right? I don't want to know later on that you sprained your ankle or that you broke your bike in an unfortunate event, yeah? The smiling face was contagious. I couldn't help but smile at him too, nodding back at his worrying, made-up scenarios. Aww. It was quite heartwarming he took the time to ask and be bothered about my well-being. It made me feel better. But, say, what were you thinking about that made you land there? Something's been bothering you? At his sudden interest, I let out a tired sigh. I almost forgot about my initial objective for a second. I have an assignment to do for school. I'm an art student, and I have this photography project that's been required by my teacher that I completely forgot, and which I have to do and send quickly. Only problem, I have no idea what subject to take shots of. I'm completely out of the loop, inspiration-wise. So I thought coming here would get me going with ideas, but so far, so good. I have nothing of worth to show yet. I explained my situation to Zechariah, his gaze never losing mine as he listened attentively. He then looked around, pondering. I guess you're new here, There are plenty of better areas than here, more people and generally lovely sceneries. If you wanted, you could go to these places near the riverbanks that are pleasing. I think human figures are really interesting in photographs. It can be so unpredictable and unique. You could get wonderful shots if you went to these busy places. So, would you like to join me? I know some wonderful spots too. It would be so much fun. His invitation was something I couldn't turn down. Getting help for this assignment and having some nice company around, that was my lucky call. I grinned at him, nodding quickly. He beamed back at me. Aw, found a friend. Then this is all set. Come on now. And with his words, we walked back down the road to where Zechariah knew was the best spot. Personally, I would have taken pictures of the fishes, but you do you. Throughout the day, we enjoyed conversing about ourselves and the city life. Zechariah shared about his experience living his adulthood there, giving me tips and even suggesting a few places to go, like the Nightfall Cinema Arcade, Riverside's library, and even the clothing shop he works at. I shared about my experience as an art student and how I proceed with my work. It almost felt natural as I took my photographs at the busy places, capturing fishermen as they got their catches, kids playing on trees, and teens having fun with their picnics. The experience was very relaxing with someone beside me. I listened to him when he suggested to take pictures, following him to unusual spots and laughing at surprising turn of events. It was very fun to be around him, and I was happy that at the end of the day, I could say I made a new friend. Aww. Did I get my work done? After a long day, I was really happy with the shots I got. Wandering around the area with Zechariah showed some amazing results, and I was humble when I said I was impressed with my own work, my photography skills showing clearly on them. The explanation and reference parts of this project went smoothly and easily. I had no problem writing out what and who inspired me. Based on the general feeling the set of photos gave me, I named this project Sonder, a term to talk about the realization that everyone you meet and pass by has a complex life, just like your own. I love that. That's one of my favorite words. Like, even when I'm scrolling on TikTok and I see all these faces pop up, like, all these people are talented and unique, and they've got something to say, and they have their own lives, and they're just doing their thing. Sometimes it's just really beautiful. I thought fondly of the time I spent beside Zechariah, despite ruining his jogging session to devote the whole afternoon wandering around the river and trees taking photos. He seemed to have enjoyed it as much as I did. I quickly finished up my mail and sent it to my teacher, all of it done before midnight hit. Nice! I stretched my limbs after spending such an eventful day, deciding to make myself some food and relax a bit before heading to bed. A bit later, I received a notification on my phone. Well, this was quick. Hello, Espoir. I just received your work. Thank you for sending it in the time you promised. I enjoyed the dedication. Wasn't I a few days late? I have to say I'm greatly impressed by what you sent me. I wasn't expecting much, and yet you've sent me something of great quality. The writing is also of note in your work. This is definitely necessary to add into your year's and semester's evaluation. I know a lot of my coworkers will enjoy this expression in your work as much as I do. Do you think you could continue on this path for the next subjects? Reinvent yourself each time, of course. I don't want to grade the same thing over and over, but I think you got a great hunch there. Feel free to send me your work if you need more feedback. I will gladly provide. Oh, that's nice. With my best regards, H. Doisno. Good ending. There could be a bad ending? Oh dear. But we made a new friend. We're gonna have lots of fun together and get soft tacos together. Oh, I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be mean to Zechariah, but I have to do it. I have to do it to see what happens. What if I don't take his hand? I don't want to get any thorns on you, friend. I really didn't want to own up to his pity. It was embarrassing enough to fall off my bike like that. I don't want help from the one that made me end up in this situation. Well, I mean, I wasn't looking where I was going. As I ignored his hand, I put mine against the brambles and bent brush and leaves and pushed myself back up, arms trembling at the effort. Ugh. I grunted as my bottom slipped down when I tried to put myself back on my feet, eyes looking around me in case some of my stuff flew off. I could feel his eyes linger on me before he retracted his hand. He's probably embarrassed now. Aww. I got myself out and huffed, staring at the mud trail on my fall. The man took a few steps back when he understood I wasn't in the mood to let him help me, and I grabbed the handle of my bike to try to get it out. It was tough. The paddles and the wheels stuck behind robust vines. I tugged with all my might and ended up stumbling out of the slope back onto the rocky path. I took a few breaths to steady myself, my appearance looking disheveled and dirty now. Ugh. So, are you all right? Nothing's broken? He gently asked, but immediately clammed up when I faced him with owl-like eyes, If it wasn't for the little bit of sourness I felt from falling so badly, I think I wouldn't look mad enough to make him freeze up like that. I looked back at myself, tugging on the strap of my camera bag. Nothing seems to have been lost, but I was quite in bad shape. My muscles strained a little. I'm fine. I'm mostly worried that my stuff got broken when I fell down here. As I was digging through my small bag to check on my device, I noticed how the man beside me fumbled and took a more thorough look at my bike. I was about to protest until I saw him pulling the chains pairing my paddles to the wheel back in place. Yeah, that's important. Something I didn't even comprehend when getting it out of the messy slope. I felt myself getting flustered and decided to finish inspecting my camera, my attention brought onto something else. When I was sure the device was intact, I was quick to see my bag only had a few smudges and my bike some scratches. Well, it was way better than I had anticipated. At least nothing's completely broken. I finally resolved to look back at the young man, fumbling over as he noticed my gaze on him again. Hey, I'm very sorry for your stuff. I wasn't expecting the impact to make you fall like that. I'm really glad you're not too hurt, truly. And I hope you're not too angry with me. I'm so sorry.
Oh, baby, it's not your fault.
Hey, no need to be so stressed. It's all right. I was expecting so much worse, but it seems things are okay. Thank you for staying around me and helping with the bike, too. At my words, he seemed to light up, an awkward smile creeping on his face as I tried to calm things down. Oh, glad to be of help. The name's Zechariah, by the way. Nice to meet you. I was just doing a bit of training around here. I like to jog while it's still nice outside, you know. Sports are a great stress reliever. It's not unusual for me to stumble across someone on a bike like that. Probably best not to go too fast around here. There's plenty of kids that walk and play near the riverbanks, so it would be better to be cautious. His eyebrows twitched, his eyes staring into mine as if unsure of his words. His tone of voice was quite accusatory, if I was honest. I was conflicted about the tone that I wanted to snap back to. I didn't know if I was too fond of this Zechariah person much.
Aw. What happens if I go full butthole? Accuse him, even though it really isn't his fault.
Well, you did stand there while I was the one rolling down that hill. Not only that, but you should have heard the sound of my bike coming near, too. Did you have the little dingy thing?
Like, seriously, I was walking once and I heard the ding behind me, had no idea what it was.
I didn't want to get treated like that by this guy. I was the one on the bike, sure, but I was the one who ended up getting hurt, and I wasn't allowing him to deny the part he played in this. At my defensive nature, Zechariah took a step back, his brows knitting together.
Hey, I'm sorry that all of it happened, all right? It wasn't my intention to make you fall like that.
He looked to the side, starting to get uncomfortable with the sudden rise in confrontation. I just wanted him to own up to his responsibility. I wasn't here to have fun. I was here to work, and his attitude was starting to annoy me.
Oh.
He fidgeted with the strap of his waist bag, starting to sweat through the prolonged, awkward, intense silence.
I don't want to take any more of your time, all right? All of this is not necessary. I'm sorry for the disturbance.
He dared a glance at my scowl before breathing in and walking around me.
You get out of here, Zechariah, run.
The sound of his shoes punched the main track as he returned to his jog, the sound getting slowly muffled by the trees and the flora as he got further away, disappearing later on down the path. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. City people. Trying to get over my annoyance with this whole encounter, I reminded myself of my initial goal, the photography work. I still had to find something to take a series of pictures of. Less easy when your negative emotions were guiding you through the process.
Gosh, stupid, random Zechariah guy. How dare he be adorable and cute and sweet? Trying to help me. How dare he?
After that long day, I managed to get a few shots I enjoyed. I guessed most of it felt uninspired. The majority of them were just of the scenery around, my research and explanation uncertain.
Like, here's a tree. I guess. There's a bird. That sure is a bird. Writing that in my thesis.
I ended up spending 2 hours riding around the tracks and getting to a few stops for shots of cute flowers or of the riverbanks, clutching inspiration to impressionist painters and the like. I ended up naming my project Sonder, a term to talk about the realization that everyone you meet and pass by has a complex life, just like your own. It was probably far-fetched, but I believe it in my take. The whole situation made me feel lonely, but I still went on and managed to craft something out of grass and pictures.
Hey, grass can be very cool looking.
I ended up sending all of the work to my teacher before midnight, finally getting off of my computer to make some food and relax before going to bed. I only managed to get a few things done when my phone's notification went off. It already replied to my work.
Huh, that was quick. It's not good, is it?
Hello, Espoir. I just received your work. Thank you for sending it in the time you promised. I enjoy the dedication. The overall work is a bit disappointing. It looks more like a bunch of tourist photos than a production made by an art student. Hey, grass and flowers can look very pretty. I'm not a photographer, that's not my wheelhouse, but, you can make it look cool. The explanation isn't doing a great job to help it either. It would be better if you redid it all over again than me validating this. Ugh. I can give you a few more days if that means you can give me something more researched and passionate for me to note. I'll be honest, this is why I kinda hate art school. Though there is a detail that I think I need to ask you about. Nay? What is that thing in the 5th photograph?
Enhance.
Nay? Nani? Bad ending. Something's wrong. What? What? Okay, what if I'm not such a butt to sweet Zechariah, so I refused his help getting up? I'm still a bit salty, but what if I say, yeah, brush the situation off, it's cool, it was my fault, it's fine, it's okay. I let out a breath. I guess I should own up to my wrongs, too. Alright, okay, I was in fact daydreaming. I'll be more cautious from now on. At my response, it seemed like all of his tension washed away, letting a small sigh escape his lips. Ah, glad you understand. I'm just worried you could get even more hurt, you know? Who knows what hides behind a corner? Yeah, apparently something in the 5th photo. But anyway, what was that daydream about? You got a lot on your mind? His interest and care took me a bit by surprise, my eyes staring back at him for a moment, before I gulped my astonishment down, tugging at my bag strap. Work, for college. I have to take some photographs for a project, and I thought wandering around here would give me some ideas, but I'm still bummed out. So, yeah, I'm still in the thinking stage. I balanced myself against my bike, holding it with one hand as I huffed out my exhaustion. It wasn't really registering what kind of expression Zechariah was making to my desperate pleas. My sight was focused on the muddy ground or some grassy patch, as I worried I was losing my time standing there. So, no idea, huh? Have you thought about going further down the river? At his question, I looked back up at him, intrigued. Photographs are always more interesting when human figures are involved, or at least, I think it's bolder when photographers do. There are more people around if you walk down the road. It's pretty deserted if you decide to stay here, though. He looked around before his eyes met mine again. He gently smiled at me one more time. It's not much, but it can be a good start. Depending on your interactions or on surprising circumstances, I think you could get something solid to show to your class. Pondering on his suggestion, I think he's got a good point here. I never really thought of it that way. It was nice to meet someone sensible to art, too. Actually, yeah. Asking a non-photographer what they would think looks cool would probably be a good idea. Well, I wish you well in your work. Farewell, Espoir. Aw, no friend? Not friend? Oh, well, okay, I understand. And with that, he followed down the path behind me, bowing when he was next to me before continuing his jogging. I thanked him a bit loudly as I watched him run away, just to be sure he heard me. He didn't turn around, but the little skip of his feet against the rocks made me believe he did acknowledge it. Aw. A sketch of a smile drew on my lips. At least it was better than nothing. I was happy the encounter didn't turn out sour after all. Following his guidance, I sat back on my bike and rolled down the road towards the busier part of the river's activity, being mindful of my speed. After some time, I was met with multiple people picnicking, jogging, on boats, fishing, or with kids playing around. The general atmosphere was as calm as it was joyful. I decided to plant my feet there and work with the scenery around. Aww. After a long day, I got multiple shots I enjoyed. The advice of this Zachariah stranger seemed to have paid off. Unexpected shots sprinkled my work with newfound interest. I had to do some research, but I managed to find references and an explanation that wasn't half bad, linking my project together. Since my best shots were of people, I couldn't help but wonder about them, and ended up naming my project Sonder, a term to talk about the realization that everyone you meet and pass by has a complex life, just like your own. Despite feeling a bit silly walking around alone, with my camera clenched between my fingers, the people enjoying their time all around me helped alleviate the stress I had initially. After polishing up my summary, I sent all of the requested work to my teacher before it was past my personal deadline. I huffed. At least it was finally done. I walked out of my chair to make myself some food and relax before going to bed, removing my eyes from the computer screen. An hour or two later, I was surprised by a notification over my phone screen. My teacher had already replied. At least I don't have to worry about his feedback for too long. Yeah, that is nice, I guess. I'm quite surprised by your work. There seems to be a quick, interesting hunch that I wish was even more developed. Probably more photographs that could make the overall work better, but at least the premise is something interesting enough to expand on. I wish you could provide more for the end of your year, or at your semester's evaluation. This project could be a good addition to show to the other teachers, too. Feel free to send them to have my feedback. With my best regards, H. Doisno. Neutral ending. To work on. What was up with that bad ending? What was in that bad ending? Well, that was Photography Project Sonder, and if you would like to see more of this game or follow the developer, there will be a link in the description. Well, I really liked that game. It was so nice and comforting and cozy, and Zachariah seems like a sweetheart. I don't know what was going on with that bad ending. I don't know if there was some spooky shenanigans going on here. But overall, that was very nice, very beautiful, very cozy, very nice. But anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Take care of yourself, have a great night, and remember, there is always hope.